We just got an early look from one feature of the Steam Machine. After that, let's talk about the new Steam Deck beta that comes with a warning. And finally, we'll go through my Steam Replay 2025 because I got nothing to hide. How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is Deck Ready, my channel all about Steam hardware. I hope you're having a great week playing a ton of video games. I've been playing Resident Evil 6 because when it came out, I'll admit it, I only played the Leon campaign. Like, I only care about Leon back then at least. And now I'm going through the rest of it. Jake's campaign, not a huge fan, but Chris's campaign, awesome. I am having so much fun flipping around the levels, throwing guys across the room. I want to get into the mercenaries mode, and the best part is it runs maxed out 60 FPS on the Steam Deck, and it should because it's from 2012, but you know, some games have issues, some don't. Let me know what you're playing down in the comments below. We are in the home stretch for the end of the year 100,000 subscriber goal. I think we can hit it, so if you're new here or you've been here for a while, or you know, you just enjoy the content and you haven't subscribed, set your notifications to all because I upload a lot of videos and they're all good. All right, let's get into the first news story here. So if you guys aren't aware, every time Valve releases a Dota 2 update, they put files for whatever they're working on outside of that game into it for some reason, and they've never really clamped down on this because this is how we got the SVG files for the Steam controller way earlier this year. It might have even been last year. This is how we got the Steam Frame controllers revealed. This is how Tyler McVicker is finding out there's a new Team Fortress allegedly being worked on, and he's been tracking the Half-Life 3, HLX, whatever you want to call it, development, basically through Dota 2 updates, because I guess it uses the Source 2 engine, which a lot of Valve stuff is built on. On the Half-Life side, Tyler McVicker said there's a ton of stuff in this new update, so I will be watching his video. I don't like reporting on that stuff just because at the end of the day, it's leaks, but with this hardware stuff, I mean, everything that's leaked hardware-wise has come to pass, so I feel like this stuff is pretty reliable. And on the hardware side, Brad Lynch has found the Steam boot intro video for the Steam Machine, and it's pretty cool. It's very similar to what we have with the Steam Deck, where it starts with the Steam Machine's logo, which I don't think has been revealed before this point. It's just a little Steam Machine box, which is pretty cute. It spins into the Steam logo, and then theoretically, if SteamOS boots up correctly, it'll boot you right into the Steam homepage. At this point, now that it's out there, I wish Valve would just add it to the point store. They've actually remembered that exists lately and started adding a bunch from a bunch of different games. The one I'm rocking right now, I was using the Retrowave 2 one, but I switched to the one that's a cool skeleton head, smoking a cigarette and then shattering into bone pieces that reveal the Steam Deck logo. They added like 15 or 20 of them all in one day. I hope that when the Steam Machine comes out, they go back to the keyboards, because the keyboards they had at launch for the Steam Deck were awesome, and then they never added any again. They added some when the Steam Deck OLED came out, especially if you got the limited edition model, you got a special keyboard, but since then, there's been nothing. I know it's probably low priority when they have stuff like the Christmas sale, the Steam Frame, the Steam Machine, the Steam controller all gestating in the background, and even light work on the Steam Deck too, but like, you know, it's still cool, and it makes you feel like you're part of something bigger in the Steam community when you have these custom Flare pieces on your hardware and the software running on it. So yeah, it'd be cool to see Valve kind of go back and add some more keyboards when the Steam Machine comes out. And before you say it's a desktop PC, why would you need the keyboards? It's built to be used with the controller. So you're going to be hitting the Steam button and X a lot to bring up that controller. I know someone's going to comment it. I just know it. So before you do it, I saved you some time. All right, with the first news story out of the way, let's get into the new Steam Deck beta. So there's two big features that come along with this. The first one is apparently some latest Xbox controller updates have been causing issues with SteamOS. I think my friend Bill over at the Nerd Nest was having issues with this. So now if you connect an Xbox wireless controller wirelessly to your Steam Deck, you will get a nice little warning that says, hey, dumbass, your controller's out of date. You got to go plug it into the Xbox accessories app that has a half star on the Windows Store, or plug it into your Xbox Series X or S, or maybe even your Xbox One to get the latest firmware for the controller so that it'll work fine with your Steam Deck. So that's saving them a headache, but it also saves you a headache because it would suck to wirelessly connect a controller to your Steam Deck and have it not work and have no warning to tell you why. So that's good. It comes with that warning. And then the second update that came along with it is for security features where, you know, we talked about this a few times this year where you'll get a message from someone and it'll be like, hey, I want to trade you for some trading cards, and you'll be like, okay, that sounds fine. And then suddenly your entire trading card library is gone. And that sucks because even though they're just like at the end of the day, worthless digital trading cards, you can sell them for money. I know there's a guy out there, we talked about it like 2 or 3 years ago at this point, who managed to sell enough Steam trading cards to pay for his Steam Deck. It obviously took a lot longer than selling Counter-Strike skins, which someone who watches the channel just did that. They sold Counter-Strike skins to pay for their Steam Deck. So it would really blow to have some person steal all your cards. I will say Valve's customer support is second to none in the sense that, you know, if you get scammed, they're really good about making it right. I mean, if you check the Steam Deck Reddit from time to time, it seems like about once or twice a month, someone steals a Steam Deck from the UPS truck and then Valve makes sure they send another one out. The problem there is the box. They ship it in the box that it comes in. So like you open the box, the Steam Deck case is right there. Printed all over that box is iconography that basically says, I'm a Steam Deck, steal me. People want them to use another box, but I'm sure there's some cost analysis they've done that's like, well, if we add one extra box or change the box, it's going to compound, because even though it costs a penny to do it once, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it a million times. I don't know. Maybe they're just lazy too. Maybe they're like, well, we invested in all these boxes. We got a warehouse full of boxes with Steam Deck iconography on it, and we did the math and it's not getting stolen enough to really matter. And again, their customer support is good enough to just ship one out, and they've done a good job improving the shipping. Like back when the Steam Deck came out, it could take like 2.5 or 3 weeks, up to even a month to get your Steam Deck. And now it's like, before I even get the notification that it's shipped, a replacement is at my door, as someone who's ordered multiple Steam Decks since it came out. So yeah, they've got the security stuff locked down. The customer support is great, but the new update is when you get one of these suspicious messages from someone, it's going to be like, hey, come here. That person who just messaged you, they're a freak. Don't talk to them. It's going to let you know that they're not worth talking to. They're just going to try and steal stuff from you, and that you should just close the message, block them, do what you got to do. Hopefully it allows you to just get to the block button easily. So now if one of you guys gets a little shady and thinks you can pull one over on me and steal all my trading cards, I'll have a little notification that says, don't trust this guy. I know none of you would do that. Just making a little joke because I added everyone from my friends list. You'll see how many friends I have in the next news story. But yeah, there's a couple other features. It's a very light Steam Deck beta right at the end of the year because Valve goes on vacation at the end of the year. I don't know if they're going to do that this year, because if you don't know, they send everyone to Hawaii and they let them have like a long time off. But you know, I want people to have time off. Obviously, I don't want them to have to work through the holidays or anything, but they do have a big hardware launch happening next year with a new console style PC, a VR headset, a new controller. I don't know. With that just right around the corner, maybe at least the hardware team will be coming in over the Christmas break. We won't get an answer to that. I don't know why I'm posing that question, but I just thought it was interesting. So yeah, new Steam Deck beta out now. I've been happy with the betas lately. I don't think you have to stay away from them or anything unless you use Decky Loader, because lately it seems like every beta just breaks Decky for some reason, which is a bummer for people who use it. But yeah, let's move on to the third news story here and go through my Steam replay for 2025. All right, I'm doing some high-tech shit here. I've got it on the screen. This is my Steam replay for 2025. It says, this year you played a ton of new games and unlocked quite a few achievements. So yes, I did find time in between filming all these videos and my multiple pipe explosions here in the basement and working on my various cars to play some video games, mostly on my Steam Deck. All right, so I played 113 games this year, and I think that number is low because they'll say this later on in the replay, but it doesn't count when you're playing offline. Obviously, I don't do that too much on my desktop PC, but with the Steam Deck, I went to Italy, I played it offline. I went to Holland, Michigan a bunch this summer. I went to Chicago a bunch this summer. I just went to Chicago. All of those times I was playing offline. So like 113 games, it's probably more like 150, and my hours are probably a little low, which I don't even have to admit because I think they're pretty high based on the ones I've seen so far. It says I earned 521 new achievements, which is 84 more than last year in 66 games, and I have 49 rare achievements. I don't know if that's good or bad or a lot or a little. I guess you can compare it to yours and we can all figure out where it fits into the list, but that seems like a lot. 521 achievements. That's like, you know, if you start up a new game these days, it seems like it gives you an achievement for hitting new game or whatever. So yeah, 521 seems like a pretty solid number. All right, now we're getting into the top 3 games I played this year, only tracking online. The first one is Hunt Showdown at 26% playtime, 141 sessions. There were 3 things that really kept me coming back back to this game. The first one is the battle pass system is great. They last like 3 to 4 months. So if you play it casually, you will hit the battle pass to 100 levels or however many it is. The second thing is this game's like a chat room for my friends and I, so we'll just play Hunt. The third thing is Bounty Clash becoming permanent. If you didn't know, there's 2 modes in Hunt. Bounty Hunt is like you go into the big map, you find 3 clues, you kill the boss, you stand off while people can see you on the map and you try to extract. Bounty Clash is like a 10-minute mode where it's just one compound or one area of the map. You go in, the boss is already dead. It takes a minute to cleanse it or whatever. It's just high PvP action and it's so much fun. So yeah, if you've never played this game, I wouldn't recommend it on the Steam Deck. It's really hard to be competitive with a controller because most of the guns in this game are like single shot rifles and you have to have pinpoint accuracy. It's not hit scanned. So like it's hard as hell to play with the controller. I'm sure people do it, but I just never got my head around it. Maybe I'll give it a shot because it does work on the deck. If you've watched the channel at all this year, you probably knew number 2 was coming. It's Elden Ring Night Rain. That was 9% of my playtime with 40 play sessions. When this game came out, my brother, my best friend and I, we played this every single night. It is such a good game. I know it doesn't click with a lot of people, but it seems like for people like me who it does click with, it really clicks with you. I had so much fun. I played it basically to completion on PS5 and PC because it didn't have cross save. And my third most played game was because I loved Night Rain so much because it lets you have end game gear because it's Elden Ring. This was 7% of my playtime, 53 sessions. I played this pretty much all summer. I started a new playthrough and I finally beat the game. I'm still chipping away at the DLC, but like beating the game was a huge achievement for me because I had started it so many times. Of course, it was a killer app for the Steam Deck when the deck came out. So, you know, I was going back to it time and time again. I just never got far enough to see what a strong character looked like, and getting that endgame gear, having a fully leveled up character, fighting bosses like Estelle in Night Rain made me go, oh, I want to do that in the main game. So that was what I needed to do to be able to mentally commit to Elden Ring. I played it basically 50-50 on my Steam Deck and on my TV upstairs on my Bazite PC. If you remember back to my video where I made that Bazite PC, the whole impetus of it was to play Elden Ring on the TV. So I actually did that. I mean, what else is there to say about Elden Ring? It's one of the greatest Souls games ever. And this wasn't a situation where it was my first Souls game. I beat Dark Souls 1 multiple times. I beat Dark Souls 2 multiple times, 3 a couple times. The only one I actually haven't beat is Sekiro. I don't know why. Oh, we can see how I compare with the achievements now. It says I unlocked 521 achievements. The Steam median is 11. I'm way above that. That seems pretty good. I know it's median and not average. I wish they would show the average, but I'm bigger than the median, so that's cool. It says my longest streak was 36 days. Again, I play offline a lot. Like most of the summer, I was in my backyard by a bonfire playing on my Steam Deck offline. So like, I'd imagine that my streak was probably up in the hundreds. Like I barely missed a day playing on the Steam Deck this year, if we're being real. So this is the interesting layer I was talking about. I only played 33% new releases. Mainly that comes down to optimization in games. If I can't get a consistent 30 FPS, I don't want to play the game until it's finished. It's just in my brain, I consider it unfinished. So I'm basically on a staggered schedule where I wait for all the DLC and all the patches to come out, and then I get the game for a better price later. I did play a few new games, obviously, like Night Rain, for example, because 33% of my games were new, but I did have a lot of fun playing old games this year, like Dying Light and Dying Light the Following and Dying Light 2 before Dying Light the Beast. And you know, like I played a lot of old games, I played some new games, but I'd say that this is right, and the large share of my game time was for older games. Like right now, I'm playing Resident Evil 6. It says you are what you play. That's bad because my theme is evil, man. Like number 1, extraction shooter, the most ruthless PvP you can get. Number 2 is Souls-like. You're just killing millions of creatures over and over again to get minor amounts of XP. Number 3 is zombies. I mean, the whole point of a zombie game is to kill as many zombies as you can. Number 4 is destruction. I don't even know what that means. I just destroyed a lot of stuff. Number 5 is racing. The most neutral of all, the most morally good category I have on my list. And number 6 is crime. I spent a lot of my time playing crime. I don't even know what that covers. I didn't play GTA or anything this year, so I guess I played crime this year. And then here's the best part. I got the actual numbers for how many people have added me throughout the year since I allowed people to start adding me on the channel. 313 new friends. So that's pretty cool that 313 of you added me on Steam because everyone else was like my real life friends. And I have played a lot lot of games with you guys, so it was worth it. I've talked to a lot of you guys. Like, someone asked if I needed help with Linux, and I actually did, so that was cool. I met a guy who works at the AutoZone, like down the street from me. So yeah, largely the experiment has been successful. I've only had one weird person that I had to block out of 313 people. So pretty good track record for my viewership. Nice. Good job, guys. That one's all you. And then here's my playtime between Windows and Steam Deck. Again, it doesn't track offline, so I'd imagine it's a lot closer to 50-50. But yeah, I play Hunt on Windows. There's my Windows computer. That explains why half my playtime this year was on Windows. I mean, I had Hunt, Battlefield, and Arc Raiders. All of those are played on Windows primarily. And then the number of games I played was the vast majority of the Steam Deck. I think this counts NextFest demos, so all those videos I did where I downloaded a bunch of demos and gave my thoughts on them. Obviously, that jumped up the numbers on the Steam Deck, but yeah, I play a lot on both. And then the coolest thing they added is a little calendar that breaks it down by month, showing what you played. I test so many games on the Steam Deck for like 2 seconds that this is basically useless. But yeah, if you have a Steam replay, I'd love to see it down in the comments, or send it to me in a DM on Steam or on Twitter at deck_ready. But this was a really good year for gaming. I beat more games than I think I do in most years, and I played a lot of games from my bucket list. Like, I'm just checking games off, and that entirely comes down to the Steam Deck, because a lot of my bucket list games are over 4 or 5 years old, which means they just natively run excellently on the Steam Deck. I think my next big game is going to be Baldur's Gate 3. I tried with Divinity Original Sin 2, just too stupid for it. I need a baby's first CRPG, and it seems like a lot of the accessibility features for my stupid brain that I need are in Baldur's Gate and are not in Divinity. So I'll get to Divinity at some point, but I think I'm going to start off 2026 strong with Baldur's Gate 3. But yeah, I feel pretty good about my Steam replay for this year. So let me know how you feel about yours down in the comments below. If you want to show it to me on Twitter, follow me at deck_ready. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and shape on.